Hello everybody and welcome back to the Tabletop Temple, where we paint, we play, and we pray to the dice gods. Today's video is going to be me showing you how to paint Fleischritter, I think if I'm pronouncing that right, from the board game Kingdoms Forlorn. To get things started, I'm going to be doing his horns first, and the two colors I decided to go with is Bony Matter and Blinding Light from Army Painter. I decided to wet blend them together, and I think it looks really, really good. So the first thing you want to do is coat the whole thing in Blinding Light, and then go more towards the bottom for when you're doing the Bony Matter. And when it dries, they're going to create the wet blend together. It looks really, really good in my opinion. Now the next two colors I decided to go with is going to be similar to how I did with the horns, but this time it's going to be Bony Matter and it's going to be Oculist Cloak, both from the Army Painter. You want to paint the top. This is for his fur that he's wearing over his shoulders. You want to paint the majority of the top in the Bony Matter and then wet blend in the bottom of the fur with the Oculist Cloak. Now the next color is going to be for the little bit of skin that is exposed on his chin and his arms, and the color I decided to go with is Peachy Flesh. Normally for these type of miniatures I would use Crusader skin, but I didn't want it to be too dark on it, so that's why I decided to go with Peachy Flesh. The next color I decided to use is Hardened Leather, and this is going to be for his armbands and his boots. Now, I wanted to at first use Hardened Leather for everything. His little chef's apron thing that he's wearing, along with the boots and the armbands, but I also wanted to distinct the two browns together in this video. That's why you'll see in a little bit I used a completely different color for his apron. So yeah, Hardened Leather, that's the next color. And speaking of that other color, it's actually Fyreslayer Flesh from Citadel. It's a dark brown enough to where you can distinguish it as a bit of leather, but it's also a nice touch up and goes very well with the Hardened Leather and the Bony Matter on his fur. So yeah, that's the other color I decided to go with. Next, I'm going to be painting the pigs that's tied to this guy, and I started with painting that little bit of meat that's shown on the one that's like closer to his chest, and what better color than to paint Bony Matter for that little bitty bone in the center and some nice blood red. It really brings out that there's like a big chunk missing from the pig. So blood red, that's the color you gotta go with. Now for the pig flesh itself, I mixed in three colors: Princess Pink from Army Painter, Bony Matter from Army Painter, and the ever so slightest touch of Carmine Dragon from Army Painter. With the Bony Matter and Princess Pink, you want to do about a 2-to-1 ratio, but then you want to touch the Carmine Dragon into that mixture, and that will give you a very nice pinky flesh for the pig itself. You don't have to necessarily even use it here. You can use it for all pig miniatures across multiple games. I truly think it's a nice combination of colors in of itself. So, as you could see here. Now the next color I decided to throw on is going to be for his shin guards and his little chest plate that's up at the top, as well as the helmet. And I am going with Broadsword Silver, and I'm also going to shade it with some Nuln Oil. I could talk today. Nuln Oil whenever it dries. That was a tip given to me in a comment in one of my previous videos, and I have been using it ever since because it truly works wonders. So yes, Broadsword Silver, when it dries, slap on some Nuln Oil and continue on with your life. Now the next color I decided to go with is going to be for his sword and his chainmail, and that is polished silver. Similar to the Broadsword Silver, once it's dry, you want to shade it with some Nuln Oil. And quick side note, I'm not sure what happened to the footage of the handle being painted, but that is Satchel Brown from Army Painter. So yeah, chainmail, polished silver, shaded down with some Nuln Oil. Now after painting his base, the Fyreslayer Flesh, that little bitty plant that's near the pig, Ork Skin, you could use any brashish color metallic paint that you want for that chain clip that's towards the front of the sword. But that pretty much does it for Fleischritter from Kingdoms Forlorn. And that's going to be it for today's video, everybody. If you liked the video, please drop a like on it, leave a comment on what you think if you're going to paint your Kingdoms Forlorn game like this, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you not have done so already. But as always, I'm your friendly neighborhood guru, and I will see you on the next Tabletop Temple. Goodbye, my friends.